Hello everyone. So we are here with the session on conflict management where we have started discussing about how to resolve the conflict. As we all know, conflict is the part of every organization, every workplace, and that happens. That is something which you cannot avoid, but yes, you can be ready with the skills you'll be using, with your conflict management ideas, with the conflict management solutions being forecasted about the conflicts which may arise in the organization among the team members. You can be ready with those things. And today we will be discussing about some of the conflict resolution ways. What are the different ways by which you can resolve the conflicts? How I can be changed to a very friendly, happy relationship among the team members. It is very important to have the organization where you do not have the conflict, because a place where we have conflict, a place where the people do not agree with each other at any point of time, there you will not be able to deliver the best results. The reason is conflicting workplace will never make the employees to work together, to stand together, and to achieve the common goals of the organization. Instead of working together with each other, they just put whole of their energy in how to make other person down, how to win over that person. And that is why when the focus is shifted from teamwork to the individual work, the organization doesn't get the success. So that is why conflict resolution is very important, and there are many ways of solving the conflict. The first way which we are going to discuss is stay calm and maintain steady body language. Whether it is anger, whether it is argument, or whether whether it is winning the situation, staying calm is very important. Stay calm, maintain steady body language will help you to come out of that conflict, to solve that conflict. Before approaching conflict resolution, take several deep breaths. Sit, relax, and calm down. Feet can both be placed on the floor rather than crossed, and keep arms open to your side rather than closed or in motion. These are the ways by which you are going to make yourself calm. The best way to make yourself calm is whenever you feel that you are getting angry, just take the deep breath. Breathe in, breathe out, relax, calm down, put your legs on the feet. This will help you to calm down. This will help you to have the proper balance of mind. When we want to resolve the conflict, when we want to solve the conflict, it is very important to just be relaxed. Until and unless you are not relaxed, you cannot think properly what is going on and how we are going to resolve the conflict. That's why I just say that stay calm and maintain a steady body language. Second is find a private, comfortable place to discuss the conflict. The conflict and conflict resolution, both of them can be distracting for the people around you. So when you are into disagreement, when you are into the conflicting situation, it is better to find a private place to work on your problem rather than disturbing everyone. Do not, the conflict, when it remains between two people, you get the results. there are more chances that the conflict may get resolved. But when it is not between two people, when the people have started forming the group, it becomes very difficult to solve the problem. And that is why it is very important that whenever there is a conflict, or if you are trying to resolve the conflict, just find a place where, which is a private place, where no other person is getting distracted, no other person is putting their ears on that place, and you are also not causing distraction to the other person. There are two reasons why we say find a private and a comfortable place. First is so that you do not create distraction for other persons, and second is you do not give opportunity to other person to create the to just murmur about the things, to spread the humors about the conflict. Once the conflict happens, even if you have solved the conflict, that person may take the advantage of that conflict. So it is always better to keep your conflict in private rather than discussing it openly with other people in the organization. Just find a place where you can work on your problems privately, where you do not get the distraction, you do not distract other people. That is the best way how you can solve your conflicts. Participants in the conflict resolution should be given equal sitting arrangement and consider having water available during the conversation. Now, these things looks very small, but they are really very important if you want to solve the conflicts. Make sure that no matter whichever party is into the conflict, both the parties are given the equal sitting arrangements. They are sitting either around the table. That is the best way to make them sit around the table, so that they can look into each other. They can look into each other's face, body language, and they can even understand the non-verbal body language, the non-verbal signals which the body language is sending. It will help the employees, it will help the person engage in the conflict to understand whether they are moving towards resolving the conflict or they are still into the conflict situation. So make sure you have the proper setting arrangement when you want to solve the conflict. Along with that, consider having some water, because you never know when this discussion can take up heated, can go heated. So in that situation, when you have the water, just make them relax, make them calm down, let them have water, so that, for a fraction of seconds, when we divert our mind from something, it is the best way to think about the situation before we add on some spices to that. Because conflict is nothing but the winning thing which a person gets, that, okay, I want to win that, no matter whether I'm going to actually get the benefit by winning or not. But the only motive which enters into the mind is, I'm going to win over other person. And that is the thinking which you have to remove. You have to come up with a resolution where both the parties are into win-win situation, where both the parties feel that yes, we have won, and both the parties are equally benefited with the results. Next, acknowledge that a problem exists. For productive conversation, all parties to agree that there is a problem in the first place. See, until and unless people are not going to agree that there is a problem, there is a conflict among themselves, you cannot get the results, right? The parties should know that yes, there is some problem, there is some disagreement between the parties. So that is why it is said that as soon as the parties enter into the conflict, it is very important that they all are aware about the problem which exists between them. Begin the conflict resolution by calming, sharing your take on what the conflict is and other parties' experience. It may happen that when you are telling them about the conflict, that, okay, this is the conflict which is there, and you may end up where without even starting, the conflict again entered, the heated discussion again started. So you have to understand that you do not give that space. Begin it very calmly by sharing what you have felt bad, your experience, what other party said. First, just share, speak up everything. Do not enter into the argument. Calmly say what you didn't like. Let's say there is a conflict related to the work. Just calmly say, this is the working style which you're adopting. This is affecting me. One person said, okay. Let other person say how he is getting affected by the other party's work. Speak calmly, because see, being aggressive is not the solution to solve anything in your life. If you want to solve anything, if you want to deliver any result, you need to understand everything. You need to share everything very calmly, very patiently. So always make sure, if you are sitting to resolve the conflict, you have to acknowledge the problem first, and you have to begin the resolution politely and calmly without being aggressive. It's important to use I statement instead of you. Use I statement, take everything on you rather than blaming the other person, because as soon as you start blaming the other person, the discussion goes in a very wrong direction. So it is very important that you always use the I statement instead of using the you statement. Avoid blaming the conflict on an individual. That's what, when you use the you statement, you are directly blaming other person. No, if you are sitting to resolve the conflict, it is very important that you use such terms, you use such statements which shows that you are not focusing on blaming other person. You are saying your point. I'm not saying that you should not say the things which you didn't like or which hurted you. No, you're supposed to say that point. You're supposed to put up that point, but do not put those points as if you are blaming the other person. That you need to understand. In the conflict resolution, when you are sitting to resolve the conflict, you are not sitting to heat up the arguments. You are not sitting to to make the argument go in a very negative zone. You are sitting together to solve the conflict, and when you want to solve the conflict, you need to be very cautious about the words you are speaking. You have to understand each and everything very properly, that okay, this is what I'm speaking, this is how I'm speaking. Am I hurting the other person by saying such thing? If you feel that yes, you are going to hurt the other person, it is better not to say that thing if you really want to solve the conflict. So create a safer place for everyone to voice their opinion. So create a place where everyone has been given the equal opportunity to raise their voice, to raise their opinion, rather than only one person getting the opportunity to put his or her point. So it is important that everyone get the equal opportunity, everyone get the equal voice, everyone get the voice to present their opinions, their views in front of each other, and then only you can solve the conflict. You know, conflict resolution is not a tough thing. The only thing which matters, by which you can solve the conflict, is having patience in you. Have the patience. Carry the patience within yourself that yes, I am here to solve the conflict. Until and unless you do not carry this mindset of solving the conflict, you cannot come out with a solution. You have to understand two things. First thing is, You are not here to heat up the argument. Second thing is you have to patiently listen to other person also what he or she is saying. Make sure you are always finding the proper sitting arrangement. You are staying calm. You are beginning the conflict by staying calm, and along with that you are giving equal opportunity to all the persons to share their views. Next way is agree to find a resolution. Once the problem has been acknowledged, everyone need to agree that a resolution should be reached. Okay, first point which we discussed was everyone should accept that there is a problem. See, until and unless either of the party says, no, there is no conflict, we do not have any problem, you cannot find a resolution, because the other person is saying that no, there is no problem at all. So when for one party the problem doesn't exist, how can you find a resolution, right? So when both the party agree that yes, there is problem, then you have to do the second thing, that you have to make everyone agree that yes, a resolution should be reached. You have to say that yes, now the problem is there, we all accept that there is some problem, so now we want to find a resolution for the conflict which is there between us. If one party does not readily agree, take them aside separately to understand why and how you can convince them to participate. Now, let's say one party says, okay, I am okay to find the resolution of the problem. And the other party says, no, I am not ready to find the solution, to solve the conflict. You cannot find the solution. You know, if both the parties are not agreeing to a common thing, you won't be able to deliver the result. How you're going to convince? Because the other party will be stick to that, I do not want the resolution. Until and unless both the party do not go for the solution, a common solution cannot be taken out. So if you feel that the other party is not ready to find the solution for the same, it is better that you take them aside, you talk to them, you try to find out why they are not ready to go for the solution. So talk to them, try to convince them. There are two ways to solve the conflicts. The first way is you are both of the parties who are into the conflict, both of you are sitting together and trying to solve the conflict. But in case you are unable to do that by mutual understanding, then you take the help of the third person, the party who is not in favor of either of the parties. He is entirely a new person who just sit between you, who listen to the views of both the parties and then just try to find the best solution for that problem. So here it is very important that you agree to find a resolution, and for that both the parties should say yes to find the solution. If either of the party is not agreeing, take the party aside, talk to that party, try to convince them, try to understand why they are not getting convinced and how you can convince them to solve the conflict. Because let's say two most important persons of the team are into the conflict and we are running with a very important project. Without them, without either of them, we won't be able to successfully complete the project. So at this point of time, it is really very important to find the resolution for the conflict. Fifth way is work to understand the perspective of everyone involved. People are not trying to cause problems. Conflict commonly arises because of misunderstanding. So take time to listen to and understand the experience of your colleagues. Intentionally, no one wants to go for the conflict. There are very rare chances that intentionally a person just comes and says, oh, I want to be into the conflict. I want to have argument with someone. He's just sitting, he's just relaxing, and all of a sudden he comes and say, no, I want to argue with some specific person. I'm feeling bored. Does this happen? No. Conflict doesn't happen by your willingness. It just happens. It is just the outcome. It is just the result of some kind of misunderstanding among the team members, among the employees, or it is the mismatch of views. It is due to the disagreement, due to the argument. So these are the few reasons because of which the conflict happens in the organization. So people are not trying to cause problem. Unnecessary people will not come and say, no, we want to enter into the conflict. That is for sure. This happens because of some kind of misunderstanding. Let's say people were working something, they were doing some work, and all of a sudden, they suffered some problem. Let's say they were communicating something, the network connection went, the other person didn't understood anything, and that misunderstanding happened, and the other person assumed that he was not interested in my project. That is how the conflict started. Intentionally, no one did anything. The situation made them think that way, and that is why it is very important that conflict should be resolved, because most of the time it is just because of the misunderstandings, and once you clear those misunderstandings amongst the individual, the conflict is resolved. So to solve those conflicts, you have to be a good listener, listen to and understand the experience of your colleagues why the conflict happened. 6 point says, take note of what triggered the conflict. Find out the reason what triggered the conflict. Unknown stressors with people lead to conflict. Let's say all the people are overburdened with the work, and it can be one of the reasons where people are just trying to give their work, delegate their work to other person because they are overburdened with the work, and that is one of the reasons why the conflict happens. You will mostly find the conflict at the places where the people are usually overloaded with the work. People are getting so much of work that they do not know what to be done and how it is to be done. So in that situation, they keep on just finding the reason. They start having conflict with other person, and that is the point from where the conflict starts. So it is the result of the stress with which the other person is going on. Not just only the professional stress. Even if the person is going through some kind of personal stress, he is disturbed. He is not with his emotion. He is not having the emotional stability. Again, that can be the reason of causing the stress, which can lead to conflict. Factors such as deadlines, tiredness, family, health, hunger, burnouts, and others can all lead to highlight emotions that ignite conflict. We're doing work, all of a sudden we have got a lot of work. So what happens now? In that thing, we start reacting in a negative way, which other person might not like, and just to safeguard his interest, he react in the same way. And when both the parties are not keeping calm, both the parties react with each other, that is the time the conflict arises. Learning the triggers and strategies can help you navigate and avoid a potential conflict in the future. Now, if you think that these stress are one of the reasons due to which the conflict is happening, try to avoid that stress. Try to avoid those quick, immediate deadlines, which is affecting the employees and which is giving the space for the conflict to come. So learn those trigger points, identify those trigger and stressors, This will help you to navigate and avoid the potential conflict in the future. So help you to avoid those conflict, and you will be having a conflicting free organization. These steps looks very small. When I'm speaking, you might be thinking these are such the some small things, but believe me, when you are working into the organization, you just miss those small steps, small things, and which leads to conflict in the organization. Identify opportunities for compromise. One or more parties must agree to the compromise. Let's say both the parties are involved. So parties should be ready to go for the compromise. If they are not ready, it is useless to give them the options, to give them the opportunities to solve the conflict. Set aside pride or stubbornness at this stage of resolution is essential. If you want to solve anything, let's say when both the parties are angry, they had a very heated argument. If you want to solve that argument, you have to keep aside your pride, you have to keep aside your stubbornness, you have to keep aside your ego. Same way, when you want to find the resolution, when you want to solve the conflict, it is important that you keep aside your pride, your ego when you are working to identify or to resolve the conflict. So identify those opportunities for compromises. Keep aside those stubbornness, keep aside your pride when you are sitting around the table to find the best solution to resolve the conflict. The resolution will feel best to everyone involved if all parties are able to compromise in some way. Now, resolution doesn't mean that the party in power is getting the things done in its favor. That is not the resolution. Even if both the parties agree, the other party who was not benefited by resolution, he or she will still have that same thing in the mind, and the issue is not completely resolved at this stage. So when both the parties feel that, yes, we have gained something, we have lost something, the other party has also lost something, that is the time when the people will think that, yes, we can go for the resolution, because all the parties involved in the conflict are able to compromise, are doing some kind of compromise. So look for the areas where compromise is possible. Now, you have to identify those areas where you think that compromise is possible. So just look out for those areas where the compromise is possible and just target those areas. There might be some things where you'll think that, yes, both the party are going to agree on that point, both the party will be okay with that point. Just trigger that thing. Agree on a plan for resolution. Create a plan for resolution that involves steps for each person involved. Just create such a plan for resolution where each and every person is involved in that resolution process. The resolution plan might include apology and change in behavior also. If required, if you think that, yes, there is the need for apology, then yes, go for apology. Make other person understand that, yes, you have to apologize for the thing you have done. You have to change your behavior to avoid any kind of future conflicts. So the resolution plan might include apology and changes in the behavior. For example, if an employee feels like their idea are not being valued by their manager, the plan for resolution may include the manager setting aside time in one-to-one to listen to the idea the employee has written down throughout the week. Now see, conflict need not be with the leader, among the team members. No, conflict can be with any person. It can be even with the manager. If you feel that you are being neglected by the manager, manager is not paying proper attention to what you are saying. So in that case, if an employee feel like their idea are not being valued, to solve that conflict, the best idea is spend some time in one-to-one interaction with the employee, listen to the idea which he has created, understand that idea, and understand the idea, because for that idea he has spent weeks to build that idea. So understand that idea, take some time to listen to that idea, and then you can solve the conflict between you and the employee. Being a manager, so you have to delegate the work, you have to make them work. But if they enter into any kind of conflict with you, they may not be as effective, as efficient as they were in doing their work. So make sure the conflict never arises between the manager and the team, or the leader and the team. Try to resolve that as soon as you notice those conflicts. Check in to make sure the agreement is lasting. Follow through is important in conflict resolution. Once the people have agreed the conflict exists, once the people have agreed to find the resolution, once they have found out the ways by which they are going to resolve the conflict, once the parties have agreed on the decision made to resolve the conflict, they have gone for the apology, everything is done. The next step says check in to make sure that the agreement is lasting. You need to keep a regular check that whatever was decided, whatever plan we made, how we resolve the conflict, that is working. People are following that thing. Let's say if we have asked a person to change the behavior so that conflict doesn't happen again. So is the person changing his behavior? Do we see any kind of change in the behavior? Just observe that thing, whether he is following whatever was decided or not. It will lose meaning if the plan for resolution isn't being followed. If you think that the plan for the resolution is not being followed, then it may lose the meaning. The entire cycle, entire time which you took to resolve the conflict will go in vain if the people in the conflict are not following the instruction, not following the plan which was being made. Set expectation by scheduling a check-in point. Set the expectations by setting a check-in point. So you can schedule regular meeting where you can take the updates that, okay, things are working well or not, whether people are following that or not. So just for checking that thing, just for the follow-up, you can schedule a check-in point, revisit how everyone is feeling, and ensure that everyone is following the agreed upon plan. So you need to ensure once you have found the solution, once you have given the solution, your work is not over until and unless you do not observe that that thing is actually being implemented. It is similar to you have taken lot of efforts, you have done lot of research to take a decision, but the decision is not of any importance if you are not putting into action. Same way, conflict resolution strategy you have made, you have made the plan, you have given the resolution, but if the people are not following them, that is a waste. So revisit them and ensure that everyone is following the agreed upon plan. The last thing is involve HR or another party if the conflict continues. If you think that the conflict is still continuing, then it is good that you involve other party in the conflict management. It can be the HR or it can be the third party. Like we have some specialized person who are very good in solving the conflict. They are master in conflict management. So you can involve that party. You can approach your HR, human resource first. If they are able to do that, good. If they are unable to do that, then you can go with the taking the help of the third party to solve the conflict. So with this 10 point, I think one thing is very much clear in your mind, that no matter whatever happens, it is very, very important to solve the conflict. If you can solve the conflict yourself, it is good. If you cannot solve the conflict yourself, if you cannot solve the conflict within the organization by taking the help of the HR, you have to approach the third party to solve the conflict, no matter what. But the ultimate thing is, if you want your organization to grow, if you want your organization to move towards success, there shouldn't be conflicting people in the organization working together. If one or more parties fail to cooperate or the conflict accelerates, in this situation, it's best to involve HR and high level leadership. In one of the points we have discussed that if parties are not agreeing, if one of the party doesn't agree, take them aside, ask them why they are not ready for conflict resolution, what is the problem they are facing. So if you think that the things are not in your control, you are unable to find the solution, you are unable to deliver the solution, people are not ready to solve the conflict, it is better if things goes out of your hand, if you fail to, if the parties fail to cooperate, go and take the help of the HR or higher level leadership, or maybe any other person even outside the organization. Hire a person outside the organization to solve that conflict among the team member. Because just understand one thing, conflict never lasts between two people. Slowly, the conflict is going to increase and it is going to create groupism in the organization. And once groupism is created, people won't be working together towards the common goals of the organization. Rather, they'll be working towards the goals they have set against each other to win over each other. And if they start working in that situation, for them, their main goal, their main focus will get diverted, ultimately giving less results, less productivity for their work in the organization, because now their motive from organizational goal has shifted to their individual goal. So do not let that thing to happen in the organization. If you think things are going beyond your control, you cannot control the situation anymore, they are not ready to solve the conflict internally, go and take the help of the outsider or the HR or higher level leadership to solve the conflict. So these are few of the ways by which you can resolve the conflict. In the next session of conflict resolution, we will be discussing about the conflict resolution skills. What are the skills which are required to resolve the conflict in the organization? See, showing your leadership requires the skills. Communication also has the skills. Same way, this conflict resolution is also having some of the skills which you are going to adopt, which you can use to resolve the conflict in the organization. With this, we have come to the end of conflict resolution session. We will have the next session after 10 minutes. Bye bye. Have a wonderful day.